Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare Hare,
everyone.
Hare Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय. नामाचार्य शिला हरिदास ठाकुर की जय. शिला प्रभुपाद की जय. हरे कृष्णा एवरीवन. दंडवत प्रणाम. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. This is Premanandini Devidasi from Ashburn, Virginia. Thank you so much for joining the morning japa session today, and please forgive me for stopping your ecstatic chanting. I'm gonna read a quote by His Grace Radhesham Prabhu. The wisdom of Bhagavad Gita reflects on the following spirit. Even the smallest offering made with sincerity is accepted and cherished by the Lord. Our efforts may feel insignificant like baby steps, but when directed towards the divine, they carry immense value. Because while our steps are small, His response is limitless. Devotion is not about perfection, it is about connection. When we begin to see Lord's gratitude, His kindness, His loving nature, our heart naturally fills with appreciation, and that appreciation slowly transforms into constant remembrance. Take one sincere step and experience how grace multiplies beyond imagination. Our Bhagavatam speaker will be here shortly. May I know who all have joined the call today?
Hare Krishna Mataji, Hare Krishna to all the devotees. Happy Ekadashi, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for joining. And happy Ekadashi to you and all the assembled devotees on the call. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare Krishna Mataji and Hare Krishna to all the devotees on this call. This is Geeta from Maryland. Hare Krishna and happy Kadashi to all.
Hare Krishna, Gita Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Thank you so much for your wonderful association this morning. Hare Krishna, happy Ekadashi.
Hare Krishna Mataji, this is Amritamani Devi Dasi. Dandavat Pranam to you and all the assembled devotees. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Guru Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Amritamani Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Thank you so much for joining the call and for staying there for early morning chanting today. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, this is Vinod Maheshwari from Maryland.
Hare Krishna, Vinod Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Welcome to the call, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Mataji and Hare Krishna to all devotees. This is Manli from Ashburn, Virginia. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Malini Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Thank you so much for joining the call today. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj.
Hare Krishna, Prema Mataji, and all the Sama devotees, Dandavat Pranam. Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai. This is Shamarasika Devdasi and Nikunjara Das from Germantown, Maryland. Happy Ekadashi to everyone.
Hare Krishna, Shamrasika Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Hare Krishna and Dandavat Pranams to Prabhuji as well. Thank you so much for your wonderful association today. And happy Ekadashi to both of you. Sorry.
And Prabhuji is joining in 5 minutes. So
Sure. So we can go.
Hare Krishna, this is Ikshita from Orlando, Florida. Happy Ekadashi to all the devotees and Dandavat Pranam to all the devotees and you, Mataji. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Ipsita Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Thank you so much for joining the call today, Mataji. And
Thank
happy Ekadashi to you as well.
Thank you. Hari Bol.
Hari Bol. Anyone else?
Mataji, Dandavat Pranam to you and all the devotees on the call. Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai. This is Rupini Padma Devi Dasi from Delhi, India. And happy Ekadashi to all. It's Ekadashi here too for India and USA together same day. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Rupini Padma Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Thank you so much for joining the call today, Mataji from Delhi. And happy Ekadashi to you as well.
Hare Krishna, this is Nitya Radha Devi Dasi from McLean, Virginia. Dandavat Pranam to everyone and all glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna, Nitya Radha Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Thank you so much for joining the early morning japa and for staying with us for Bhagavatam class today. Thank you, Mataji. Dandavat Pranams. Anyone else would like to announce their name? Or we can continue chanting until Prabhuji joins.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Ram, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Hare Ram Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Hare Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Hare Ram Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Hare Ram Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Hare Ram Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Hare Ram Ram. जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री विवेका गौरवदास श्री हरे कृष्ण हरे हरे राम हरे राम
Hare Krishna, everyone. I see that Prabhuji has joined. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Hare Krishna, everyone. Welcome to Nitya Harinam Sangha morning Bhagavatam class. Today we are extremely fortunate to have His Grace Prema Sadas Prabhuji joining us from Mumbai. Prabhuji is going to enlighten us on Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 8, Chapter 20, verse number 1. Prabhuji, whenever you are ready, you may take over the call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. All right. Yeah. So
I made you co-host, Prabhuji.
okay, let me share the screen and see if I can record also. Okay, all right. So today we are going to continue the Bhagavatam verse and especially focused on the principles of Guru Tattva. So reading from 8th canto, 20th chapter, verse number 1. Sri Suka Uvacha Bali evam grihapati Kulacharya Bhashita Tusnim Bhutva Shanam Rajan Uvacha Vahito Gurum. Sri Suka Uvacha, Sri Sukadeva Goswami said, Bali Maharaj, Evam thus Grihapati, the master of the household affairs, although guided by the priest, Kul Acharyana, by the family Acharya or guide, Bhasita, being thus addressed, Tusnim silent, Bhutva, becoming Shanam for a moment, Rajan, O King, Maharaj, Parikshit, Uvach said, Avahita, after full deliberation, Gurum unto his spiritual master. Translation, Srila Sukadeva Goswami said, O King Parikshit, when Bali Maharaj was thus advised by his spiritual master, Shukracharya, his family priest, he remained silent for some time and then, after full deliberation, he replied to his spiritual master as follows. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. So Srila Vishwanath Thakur remarks that Bali Maharaj remained silent at a critical point. How could he disobey the instruction of Shukracharya, his spiritual master? It is the duty of such a sober personality as Bali Maharaj to abide by the orders of the spiritual master immediately, as his spiritual master had advised. But Bali Maharaj also considered that Shukracharya was no longer to be accepted as a spiritual master, for he had deviated from the duty of a spiritual master. According to Shastra, the duty of the Guru is to take the disciple back home, back to Godhead. If he is unable to do so and instead hinders the disciple in going back to Godhead, he should not be a Guru. Guru na sat. One should not become a Guru if he cannot enable his disciple to advance in Krishna consciousness. The goal of life is to become a devotee of Lord Krishna so that one may be freed from bondage of material existence. Tyaktva Deyam Punarjanma Neti Mamniti Swarjan. The spiritual master helps the disciple attains the stage by developing Krishna consciousness. Now, Shukracharya has advised Bali Maharaj to deny the promise to Vamandev. Under the circumstances, therefore, Bali Maharaj thought that there would be no fault if he disobeyed the order of his spiritual master. He deliberated on this point. Should he refuse to accept the advice of his spiritual master, or should he independently do everything to please the Supreme Personality of Godhead? There's some mistake here. Should he refuse to accept the advice of spiritual master? So should he accept the advice of spiritual master? It should be like that. I also confirm with the Vedaves folio. So there is some error here. Or should he independently do everything to please the Supreme Personality of Godhead? He took some time. Therefore, it is said, Tusnim Bhutva Shanam Rajan Uvacha Vaito Gurum. After deliberating on this point, he decided that Lord Vishnu should be pleased in all circumstances, even at the risk of ignoring the Guru's advice to the contrary. Anyone who is supposed to be Guru, but who goes against the principle of Vishnu Bhakti, cannot be accepted as Guru. If one has falsely accepted such Guru, one should reject him. Such a Guru is described as follows. Mahabharata Udyog Parva 179.25. Gurur api avaliptasya karya karyam ajanata utpat pratipannasya parityago vidiyate. So Jiva Goswami has advised that such a useless Guru, a family priest acting as a Guru, should be given up, and that the proper bona fide Guru should be accepted. Satkarmo nipuno vipro banta tantra visharada Vaishnava Guru nasyad Vaishnava swapacho Guru. A scholarly Brahman, expert in all subjects of Vedic knowledge, is unfit to become a spiritual master without being a Vaishnava. But if a person born in a family of lower caste is a Vaishnava, he can become a spiritual master, Padma Purana. Okay. Om Agyantivinandasya Vajnanjala Chakshuvamritam Nena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Vistaya Vijare Shri Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namaste Sarvadeve Gaurvani Pacharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschata Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advait Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. All right. Okay, so thank you all the devotees for giving me opportunity to serve you all. And I would like to revise some of the principles of Guru Tattva that we had covered in previous sessions. I don't remember, maybe it was like 2 years back or 3 years back, but I think it will be, this is a very relevant topic. So we'll go through some very important points in the class. All right, so first and foremost, what we understand from the purport and from the relevant verse is that one can reject the Guru if the instruction of the Guru or the desire of the Guru go against pleasing Lord Krishna or Vishnu. Now, generally, this is of course a Vaishnava principle, and if we see now, this is the way actually the Shastra has been presented according to Vaishnava understanding, which is of course we will definitely believe that it is the essence of all the scriptures, and although there may be other ways of presenting also, like for example, some Jnani or Karmi, they will definitely have that faith in Guru, but it's not necessary that they believe in the principle that we are servants of Lord Vishnu. Like Mayavadis, they will say that we are actually God, we can become God, we are all Brahman. So we have forgotten that, and we need to do some sadhana in order to reinstate that position. So that is the way Mayavad gurus will present. In general, the Shastra actually is asking us to respect the Guru, because the Guru gives knowledge, and through that knowledge we understand the absolute truth. So although here it's very directly stated that whoever is a Vaishnava is supposed to be a Guru. That's the essence of the Vaishnava principle. But this is the way other Sampradaya, they will probably not accept, of course, non-Vaishnava Sampradaya. But the principle of Guru is always to be respected. The Tattva, Guru Tattva is always respected. And we will try to understand the Guru that is presented according to our Vaishnava principles. So first and foremost, the meaning of Guru is that Guru is heavy with knowledge. That's how they have defined Guru. In general, Guru is defined someone who has got knowledge and he's like heavy with knowledge. Now, what is the meaning of being heavy with knowledge? Heavy with knowledge means that if you weigh the Guru on a weighing scale on one side, and if you put the rest of the world on the other side of the weighing scale, then the weight of the Guru will always be more than all the people combined together on the other side of the weighing scale. And this basically means that the instruction of the spiritual master, it weighs more than anyone else. So even if you hear from thousands of people and they contradict the instruction of Guru, still you are not supposed to contradict the instruction of Guru. You're supposed to follow the instruction of Guru. So that much is the weight, that much is the heaviness of the Guru's Vani. That we need to understand. So he's supposed to be, obviously, he has to be conversant with the science of Krishna consciousness. As per our acharyas, they have repeatedly mentioned this. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself has said that whoever is conversant with the science of Krishna consciousness can become a guru, no matter he is a Sudra or Vaishya or whatever he is, fallen or like outcast or whatever. But still, he can take the role of guru because if he knows the science of Krishna consciousness. That's, of course, the way Prabhupada presented, because it's a preaching movement. So we require a lot of devotees to take this role and to help devotees and to help further the mission of Srila Prabhupada. So, the purpose of Guru is very simple. It is not to confuse the disciples, because there are multiple Siksha Gurus. One can have different Siksha Gurus, but one will have only one Diksha Guru. And today we are going to discuss when should we reject a Guru. Now that Guru, when we talk about Guru, generally the plural word is used, Gurun, and that refers to many Siksha Gurus and only one Diksha Guru. So it can refer to multiple Gurus in the system. So whatever, in fact, you will be surprised to know that all the injunctions of the Guru, all the knowledge that is given about the Guru in the scripture, it is actually referring to the Siksha Guru, those who are giving knowledge. It does not refer to anywhere else in the Upanishads. It does not refer to the Diksha Guru. So that is something that we have to be very careful, because generally the tendency is to relate everything with the Diksha Guru and to minimize the position of the Siksha Guru. However, this kind of difference of Guru is more explicitly you'll find in the teachings of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and maybe some other sampradayas also. But generally speaking, Guru is like, who is giving knowledge. So that's how we understand. And even the meaning of Diksha also, it's a combination of two words. Divya Gyan and Shaya means destruction of sin. So basically, when the Guru is giving you the mantra to worship the deity, this is this Divya Gyanam basically means the Sambandh Gyan that he actually bestows onto the disciple. And then the Shaya will happen. So basically, when you have the mantra, you chant the mantra and you establish a relationship with your deity or the Lord, and you follow the process, then that is supposed to destroy the sinful reactions. Of course, you need to follow the regulative principles, because during the process, when you are following, you are not supposed to commit more sins. Okay, so you need to stop the sins altogether. And whatever sins you committed in the past, after taking that formalization of relationship, the Guru obviously takes the reaction of the disciple. So that's how it is. The Divya Gyanam plus the Shaya means the destruction of the sins. Okay. So this is what we need to understand. And the purpose of Guru is not to confuse the disciple. There may be difference of opinions, but the Guru is supposed to present in such a way that the disciple will not be confused at the end. And it will make things very clear for the disciple to accept and follow. Now, if there are different opinion among different Gurus, and see, there are many devotees in ISKCON, and they have their different Diksha Gurus. There are many devotees who have multiple Siksha Gurus. So there we have a wide range of Guru in our structure. And so it can become very complex and confusing sometimes. Now, if you consider the earlier days, before the movement started, before the preaching movement started, which is basically, if you trace back to the time of Gaur Kishore Das Babaji, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, and beyond that, then you'll see that there was no preaching movement as such. So basically, it was like few disciples and one guru, and or even if there are multiple gurus, they have their disciples, and like that disciples, they are like limited. So there was a one-on-one conversation, one-on-one discussion, one-on-one sharing of knowledge, and the disciples were also very free to ask the guru. And of course, that kind of transmission of knowledge was also mostly based on how to conduct our sadhana during our marital life, or even if you are a brahmachari or like whatever it is. So mainly focused on how to improve Krishna consciousness, how to improve our bhajan, because there is no mission, right? So when you don't have a mission, then you don't have a lot of opportunities to serve. But when you are only focused on give and take relationship, then it is like more focused on one's own improvement, internal purification. So this also, this factor has to be considered, because this concept has been broadened now when ISKCON has become a preaching movement, or the preaching basically started from Bhaktivinoda Thakur saw the foundation, but then Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur took it in India, and then Srila Prabhupada extended beyond India. Okay, so this is the way Srila Prabhupada is presented, and of course, when you are preaching to the entire world, then you can just imagine that every group of devotees, every local center, they will want some senior devotee, they will want some knowledgeable person to guide them, to train them, right? So it is very important. And if you raise the standard of guru, and we'll also discuss about that. Okay, so we'll be discussing liberated gurus, non-liberated gurus. Can non-liberated gurus become liberated? I mean, can they take the position of guru? And if we raise the standard of the non-liberated gurus, then how many devotees can become guru? So all these are practical consideration. So that will also go through. So basically, see, the Swarup Lakshan of a guru is to follow the instructions of guru. Now there are two parts. So that's the Swarup part and the Tathastha part. So there is the Swarup Lakshan and the Tathastha Lakshan. So Swarup Lakshan is basically the primary, the most essential element of a guru-disciple relationship, and that is to follow, to be obedient to the guru. And Lakshan part, Tathastha part, is that you basically develop attachment for the guru. So that can, it is possible that the attachment may not be there in the beginning, but then later on the attachment can develop. Just like, for example, in arranged marriage. So you may not have attachment right in the beginning, but as you come closer to each other, then you understand, and then you appreciate, and then you start becoming attached. So like that, the same thing in a guru-disciple relationship also. So the most important element is to follow the instruction of guru. That is the Swarup Lakshan. So principles and details, basically, right? Okay. So now the Shastra references for guru, whether it is Shvetavastra Upanishad or Chandogya Upanishad or Srimad Bhagavatam, different slokas, Mundak Upanishad, Katha Upanishad. So they, whichever verse numbers, verses it is referring, it is all referring to the Siksha Guru. So for example, Shvetavastra Upanishad 6.23, Yasyadeva Parabhakti Yatadeva Tatha Guru Tastyadeva Kathiyata Prakashante Mahatmana. So then Tag Vidyarnatham Saguru Meva Abhigachyate. So that all these verses, they are actually referring to the guru who is giving gyan. Okay, it does not talk anything about giving diksha mantras or giving mantras. Okay, so we have to be, we need to understand that there's a lot of misconception which revolves around considering only the diksha guru as like the main guru or something like that. Okay, actually in our sampradaya also, if you see, the Siksha Guru is the main guru. I mean, whoever gives Siksha, they are actually considered in a very exalted position. That's according to Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Plus, you see, our Sampradaya is actually a Siksha Sampradaya, because we are not tracing, Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur did not trace according to Diksha line, he traced according to Siksha line. So that's why we have Gaur Kishore Das Babaji, who is actually the Siksha disciple of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. He is not the Diksha disciple. And then we have Bhaktivinoda Thakur, who is the Siksha disciple of Jagannath Das Babaji, right? So like that. Yes. So now coming to the relevant verse, one thing we need to understand very thoroughly, that of course we have heard that without Guru we cannot attain Krishna. That's true. But then there are also Shastric Praman where some devotees, they have attained Krishna after rejecting Guru. So I would like to share some examples from the Srimad Bhagavatam. And this is especially in the context of Krishnada Maharaj and Maharaj Nimi, which is from the 9th canto, 2nd chapter, verse number 3 to 14, and 9th canto, 13th chapter, verse number 1 to 11. So let me read the purport of Srila Prabhupada, and I will not go through the entire thing, the essential thing only. I think from that you will be able to understand that how one can attain the Lord without Guru or after rejecting Guru. Basically, they had Guru, but they rejected. Okay. So, in the 9th canto of 2nd chapter, verse number 9, it is mentioned, Srila Prabhupada writes, that it appears that Vasishtha was not free from Tamagun, the mode of ignorance. Now, Vasishtha was the Guru of Prishrada Maharaj. And as the family priest or spiritual master of Prishrada, Vasishtha should have taken Prishrada's offense very lightly. But instead, Vasishtha cursed him to become a Shudra. It is the duty of a family priest not to curse a disciple, but to give him relief through the performance of some sort of atonement. Vasishtha, however, did just the opposite. Therefore, Srila Vishwanath Thakur says that he was Durmati. In other words, his intelligence was not very good. Now, Prishrada, because of his karma, was cursed to take his next birth as a Sudra. But because he took to saintly life, specifically concentrating his mind always upon the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he became a pure devotee. Immediately after giving up his body in the fire, he reached the spiritual world, as mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita, as a result of his devotional situation. Devotional service performed by thinking of Supreme Personality of Godhead is so powerful that although Prishrada was cursed, he avoided the terrible consequences of becoming Shudra and instead returned home back to Godhead. 9 to 14. This is the another purport of Prishrada Maharaj from the Bhagavatam. So what do you understand from this? Like what to speak of rejecting the Guru, he was actually cursed by the Guru. And what, see, generally, if you see in the previous ages, when the rishis, they used to curse someone, definitely the effect would have been there. You could have seen the effect. Although it's not necessary that all the rishi and sages are pure devotees. But I mean, what to speak of rishi and sages? Even demons, when they curse someone, that if the effect of curse was also seen through the demons. So here Vasishtha Rishi is actually, who is Vasishtha Rishi? He is actually the Guru of Lord Ram. And he cursed Prishrada Maharaj because of some misunderstanding of the situation, which is described in the Bhagavatam. And Prabhupada, he states here that actually the Guru is supposed to give relief to the disciple. He's supposed to take back to Godhead. If the disciple is committing some mistake and that mistake is not done intentionally, if it is a mistake by chance or some circumstances, then the Guru is supposed to give some remedy to rectify that. And somehow the Guru is meant to elevate the disciple at all circumstances, right? So, but instead of doing that, he cursed Prishrada Maharaj. And because of that, the curse now, technically speaking, Prishrada Maharaj was executing his Krishna consciousness and he was completely devoted to the Lord. So that's why he could counter the curse. And the curse had no effect on him. In fact, he left his body and then he went to spiritual world. Okay, so this is one typical example. Another example you will see of King Nimi. And this is 9th canto, 13th chapter, verse number 5. In that Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport, the religious principle for a Brahmana is that he should not be greedy at all. In this case, however, for the sake of more lucrative remunerations from the King of Heaven, Vasishtha neglected Maharaj Nimi request on this planet. And when Nimi performed the sacrifices with other priests, Vasishtha unnecessarily cursed him. When one is infected by contaminated activities, his power, material, or spiritual reduces. Although Vasishtha was a spiritual master of Maharaj Nimi, because of his greed, he became fallen. So see, here what is happening is Nimi Maharaj performing sacrifices, and then he does not have time to wait for the execution of the sacrifice. So he is asking his family guru Vasishta to conduct the sacrifice. But because Vasishta Rishi is actually busy in conducting sacrifices in Indralok, in Swargalok, because he's getting more remunerations. So that's why he's asking Nimi to wait. But Nimi understands that Krishna Kanjana Bhakti is very important, cannot wait for a good amount of time. So he immediately invites other priests and he continues the sacrifice. So that made Vasishta Muni very angry, and because of that he cursed him. So this is again the sign of some guru or some exalted personality who is influenced by the gunas of the material world, and because of that, now a guru is supposed to act on a liberated platform. This is what we are now going to discuss. So, but now what happened? He cursed Maharaj Nimi, and Nimi Maharaj, actually, this is not shared in the purport here, but in the subsequent verses, you will see that how Nimi Maharaj also curses Vasishta because unnecessarily he cursed him. So he also countered it by cursing Vasishta Rishi, and Vasishta had to give up his present body, and then he took another body, he came back again. But Nimi Maharaj, he actually went back to Godhead. So this is what happened. So we'll see the typical example of two Bhagavatam, stories where curse and then counter curse happened, and then still after that the disciple went back to Godhead. So without the blessings of Guru. Now why it happened is because the Guru actually he forgot the Guru has forgotten his duty, that he needs to take the disciple back to Godhead, not to curse them, not to keep them in the material world, and that too because of his own ego. Right. So now what we understand from all these situations is that, especially Shukracharya, then Vasishta Rishi, is that a guru can fall down. That is definitely there, because sometimes it is said that, and even Prabhupada will state this, and I will also share references from Prabhupada's letters and his other teachings, that only a liberated person can be a guru. So Prabhupada states like that. Whereas the Shastra in the Mahabharata and Srila Jiva Goswami, they're quoting that a guru, if the guru will not follow, if he does not please Lord Vishnu, he deviates from that, then he's supposed to be rejected. Okay, so there are instances like that. Okay. Okay, so I would like to read out a letter that Srila Prabhupada wrote to Swatsvarup Maharaj. And okay, I would like to share on the screen also. Okay, so letter to Satsvarup Maharaj, 1977, August 7, 1977, Vrindavan. Srila Prabhupada, so I have not, I think this is an excerpt from the letter, it is not the entire letter. But anyways, this is the most important thing that I would like to present. So Srila Prabhupada explained, my dear Satsvarup Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada explained the difference between first and second initiation as follows. Why do you believe in rumors? The first initiation is not so important as second. I have already said that it is equally important, but you say rumor. Actually, first initiation is more important. You can go without second initiation if the first initiation executed very thoroughly. That is sufficient. First initiation stands strong. The Vedic system was to give the sacred thread at the first initiation. We are following Pancharatrik. Vedic initiation was given to a person born to a Brahmana. That is not possible in this age. Therefore, he has to be prepared by Harinam initiation and then second initiation. He is given a chance. Therefore, others protest that I am giving initiation. He is not a Brahmana. How can he be initiated? Okay. Next. This is from Siddhanta Prabhu's memories, Srila Prabhupada's memories. So Vaikuntanath, disciple of Prabhupada, he is speaking. In 1972, when Prabhupada gave a series of lectures on the nectar of devotion for 1 month in Vrindavan, a thought was plaguing me. When I first joined, I would be thought that the parampara system is like a chain. And if you're not initiated, if you are not linked up to this chain, then you can't go back to Godhead. I thought we are distributing so many books, but if the people who read them are not initiated, then they can't go back to Godhead. So one day I followed Prabhupada from Guru Goswami Samadhi, where he lectured, and just before Prabhupada stepped onto his courtyard, I said, we are distributing so many books, but if people aren't initiated, then they can't go back to Godhead. Prabhupada turned, looked at me right in the eyes and said, just by reading my books, they are initiated. I thought that is an incredible example of compassion. Okay, another letter. Jadurani Mataji, 1972. So, my dear Jadurani, so I beg to acknowledge receipt of your letter dated 31 August 1972. I have noted the contents. I am especially glad to hear that you have distributed 32 Bhagavad Gita as it is in one day in New York. Now go on in this way, distribute all our books profusely, as many as possible, to all kinds of men. Regarding your question, second initiation is real initiation. First initiation is the preliminary, just to make him prepared, just like primary and secondary education. The first initiation gives him chance to become purified, and when he is actually purified, then he is recognized as Brahman, and that means real initiation. The eternal bond between spiritual master and disciple begins from the first day he hears. Just like my spiritual master. In 1922, he said in our first meeting, you are educated boys, why don't you preach the cult? That was the beginning. Now it is coming to fact. Therefore, the relationship began from that day. Right? So, what do you understand from this? So, in one letter, Prabhupada is saying that first initiation is more important, but second initiation is the real initiation. And then Prabhupada in the third letter says that, in the second letter, Prabhupada is also saying that the initiation begins when you start hearing from the spiritual master. So this is what we need to understand, because there are a lot of misconceptions about first, second initiation. The first initiation is actually not defined in Shastra as such. It was introduced by Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, and as Prabhupada stated that the main reason why it is introduced is because in Kali Yuga, Pipara, Malecha, and Yavanas, in order to purify them, to bring them to a Brahmanical platform, to a regulative standard of steady devotion, it is required that we give them first initiation so that they will purify themselves and they will come to a regulated and steady platform of devotion. So that will actually qualify them to take Diksha. Now, Diksha, technically, second initiation means it's bestowal of Diksha mantras. Okay. So if you want to worship the deities, then only second initiation is actually required. Otherwise, you don't require Diksha. Now, Prabhupada combined both of them together, as Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur also did. Is the only reason is because in Kali Yuga, we are fallen. We have a lot of bad habits. The tendency is to become irregular, is to sometimes, so like also, the mentality is to enjoy the material world. So our bhakti is not steady. And in order to bring it to the platform of steadiness and regulation, we need deity worship also. We need the help of deities also. So just imagine if you have deities, then you are obliged to do seva to them. And for that, you have a schedule to offer service to them. If you don't have deities, you don't have any schedule, you don't do any seva on a daily basis, and you are not obliged to do. And that's why you can keep wavering and your bhakti will not be so steady, right? This is a very common sense thing. You can observe it daily. So if you have deities, then you become more committed. But if you are already advanced to a level where you perform devotional service steadily every single day, and the taste also increases, then probably you don't require deity worship. So Harinam and knowledge, Siksha is sufficient to take you back to Godhead. Okay. So in that sense, Prabhupada said that second initiation is real initiation, because the Diksha, when we say Diksha, that Diksha is actually the bestowal of the Diksha mantras, because without approaching the deities, without the Diksha mantras, you cannot approach the deities. So you require special Diksha mantras to approach the deities. Without that, you cannot worship the deities. So that's why second initiation becomes the real initiation, because that's the way it has been described in the Shastra. But the first initiation was introduced by Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur, and technically speaking, you are not given the Harinam, you are not given the Hare Krishna mantra. Now, the first initiation, when do you get it? When you chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra constantly for at least 1 year or 1.5 years or more, right? And so that means that you're already chanting 16 rounds for probably a couple of years. You already have the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. It's not that someone has given you and you didn't knew about it, but someone bestowed to you. So this is not the meaning of the first initiation. First initiation is more in the spirit of purifying yourself to come to the platform of Brahminical standard. Okay. That's the only reason this Harinam is. So now, see, Harinam is already being given to you. You are already chanting. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ordered that in Kali Yuga, Harinam has to be the main process. So that Harinam has been given to us by some devotee, of course, some devotee got it from Srila Prabhupada in the Parampara, Prabhupada got it from the Acharyas like that. It's coming from the scripture ultimately, that Kali Santra Upanishad, the Hare Krishna mantra is mentioned. So you already have the mantra. It is not that the Guru is giving you the mantra. Okay. What is happening in the first initiation is that just that when the Guru is chanting on your beads, he's kind of like empowering your japa. Okay. So he's not empowering your beads. He's empowering your japa. He's trying to like put his power into your japa. So he's probably giving you some kind of special blessing like that. So that's what is happening. And the yajna and all that, that is actually not supposed to be in the first initiation. But here we are doing it because so that devotees will take vow in front of the Guru and in front of deities. And they take it more strictly. They will think that, okay, now I've taken a vow, so I have to follow it lifetime. So that brings you to a certain platform of steadiness. That's why all these arrangements are there. Yajna and then fire sacrifice, then you have devotees around you and you take vows and all. But Harinam, if you see in Gauri last time, Naam was just given like that. Some devotee came to you, some Nitya Siddha devotee, he bestowed his mercy and he gave you Naam. And that's how you started chanting. That's it. So there was no bestowal of Naam also. Like, for example, in the first initiation, we have been awarded a spiritual name. Whatever is our karmi name, instead of that, we are awarded a spiritual name. So that was not happening during the first initiation in Gauri last time. Or sometime it may happen also. Some devotee out of his own mercy, he may have bestowed some name to someone. So this was happening generally during the second initiation, and that's the technical initiation, or real initiation. That's why Prabhupada said like that. But because Harinam is the main process in Kali Yuga, because Siksha is the main process, ours is the Siksha Sampradaya. That's why first initiation is more important than second initiation. And just by first initiation, you can go back to Godhead. That's why Prabhupada said that first is more important than second. So even without second, you can go back to Godhead. But second is generally, you can say that 99% in Kali Yuga, it is required because people, devotees, they are like conditioned, they have bad habits from previous life, this life also, like that. So that way it is important, right? Okay, so I hope that this is very clear. Devotees should not have any misunderstanding about this. Okay, and of course, we'll take some questions also at the end. But this is something very important. Okay, now let's go. Okay, so basically, Srila Prabhupada is what he says repeatedly in his letters and his teachings, that Siksha is the most important element. And let me share some letters of Prabhupada where he says that implicit faith in Guru and Krishna is the secret of success. Okay, the secret of success in the matter of Krishna consciousness is devotion to the Lord and the spiritual master. In the Vedas, the secret of success is described as follows: Yastadeva Parabhakti, Yastadeva Tatho Guru, Yastadeva Kathiti Artha, Prakashante Mahatmana. Anyone who has developed unflinching faith in Lord and the spiritual master can understand the revealed scripture unfold before him. So continue your present aptitude and you will be successful in your spiritual progress. I'm sure that even if I'm not physically present before you, still you'll be able to execute all spiritual duties in the matter of Krishna consciousness if you follow the above principles. I thank you once more for your service. This is a letter to Subal, September 29th of 1967. Krishna is always with you, provided you are sincere in his service and faithful to your spiritual master. That is the secret success. It is plain and simple. Please try to be faithful and sincere. You are very intelligent and devotee of the Lord. Letter to Krishna Devi, 29th September 1967. So as I have repeatedly said, Krishna will develop by following two parallels: the service of Krishna and service of spiritual master. This is the secret of success. The spiritual master must be bona fide. He must come down from bona fide spiritual master and must act according to direction of spiritual master. And by doing so, he gives proper directions about Krishna, and the devotees serve Krishna under the direction of spiritual master. Krishna accepts the service. And in this way, the whole thing becomes beautiful and successful. So like that, Prabhupada wrote many letters. All right, now, yes, so we have already gone through this verse of Mahabharata and Jiva Goswami. So it is enjoined that a corrupted spiritual master who cannot distinguish what should be done and what should not be done, who has gone astray from the right path, must be abandoned. Mahabharata Ujjat Parva. Okay, so now I would like to read a letter by Srila Prabhupada, which is also very important, to know, because Prabhupada said that spiritual master has to be liberated. If someone who is not liberated cannot become a spiritual master. A couple of things like that. Yes. Okay. So generally the spiritual master comes from the group of such eternal associates of the Lord. But anyone who follows the principles of such ever liberated person is as good as one in the above mentioned group. A person who is liberated, Acharya and Guru cannot commit any mistake. But there are persons who are less qualified and not liberated, but still they can act as Guru and Acharya by strictly following the disciplic succession. So in this letter, Prabhupada says that whoever is strictly following the liberated souls, they also can take the position of Guru. But in some other instances, Prabhupada also says that only liberated devotees can become Guru. Okay. So the answer to your Ishtagoshti questions are as follows. Unless one is a resident of Krishna Lok, one cannot be a spiritual master. That is the first proposition. A layman cannot be a spiritual master. And if he becomes so, then he will simply create disturbance. And who is a liberated person? One who knows Krishna. It is stated in the Bhagavad Gita, 4th chapter. Anyone who knows Krishna in truth is immediately liberated. And after quitting this present body, he immediately goes to Krishna. That means he becomes a resident of Krishna Lok. As soon as one is liberated, he is immediately a resident of Krishna Lok. And anyone who knows the truth of Krishna can become spiritual master. That is the version of Lord Chaitanya. So to summarize the whole thing, it is to be understood that a bona fide spiritual master is a resident of Krishna Lok. Your next question, whether the spiritual master was formerly a conditioned soul. Actually, a bona fide spiritual master is never a conditioned soul. There are three kinds of liberated persons. They are called sadhana siddh, kripa siddh, and nitya siddh. Sadhana siddh means one who has attained perfection by executing the regular principles of devotional service. Kripa siddh means one who has attained perfection by the special mercy of Krishna and the spiritual master. And nitya siddh means one who was never contaminated. The symptoms of nitya siddh is that from the beginning of his life, he is attached to Krishna and is never tired of rendering service to Krishna. So we have to know what is what by these symptoms. But when one is actually on the Siddha platform, there is no distinction as to sadhana, kripa, or nitya siddha. When one is siddh, there is no distinction what is what. Just like when the river water glides down to the Atlantic Ocean, nobody can distinguish which portion was the Hudson River or some other river. Neither is there any necessity to make any such kind of distinction. Actually, every living entity is eternally uncontaminated, although he may be in the material touch. This is the version of the Vedas. Asanga ayam purusha. The living entity is uncontaminated. Just like when there is drop of oil in water, you can immediately distinguish the oil from the water, and the water never mixes with the oil. Similarly, a living entity, although in material contact, is always distinct from the matter. You are correct when you say that when the spiritual master speaks, it should be taken as Krishna is speaking. That is a fact. Spiritual master must be liberated. It does not matter if he has come from Krishna Lok or he is liberated from here, but he must be liberated. The science of how one is liberated is explained above, but when one is liberated, there is no need of distinction whether it is come directly from Krishna Loka or from the material world. But in the broader sense, everyone comes from Krishna Loka. When one forgets Krishna, he is conditioned. One remembers Krishna, is liberated. I hope this will clear up these points. I hope this will make you in good health. Letter to Mukunda, New Vrindavan, 10th of June, 1969. Now let's go through another purport of Srila Prabhupada to Nectar of Instruction, verse number 5. What Prabhupada is writing here, according to Srila Rupa Goswami, the association and service of such a Mahabhagavat or perfect Vaishnava are most desirable. Out of many such Vaishnavas, one may be found to be very seriously engaged in the service of Lord and strictly following all the regulated principles, chanting the prescribed number of rounds on japa beads, and always thinking of how to expand the Krishna consciousness movement. Such a Vaishnava should be accepted as Uttama Adhikari, a highly advanced devotee, and his association should always be sought. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur has given practical hints to the effect that an Uttama Adhikari Vaishnava can be recognized by his ability to convert many fallen souls to Vaishnavism. One should not become a spiritual master unless he has attained the platform of Uttama Adhikari. A neophyte Vaishnava or a Vaishnava situated on the intermediate platform can also accept disciples, but such disciples must be on the same platform, and it should be understood that they cannot advance very well towards the ultimate goal of life under his insufficient guidance. Therefore, a disciple should be careful to accept an Uttama Adhikari as a spiritual master. Right? Okay, now let's see. Oh, okay. Madhya Leela 24th. Okay, let's go by sequence. Okay, now what does Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur say? So he says that he explained that although the attitude of Guru or attitude of giving to the Guru was correct, means the disciple they offer some Guru Dakshina, the acquisitiveness on the part of Guru was not. Everything should be offered to the Guru. Yet by taking even one morsel for his own sake, a Guru becomes disqualified and a thief. And he would also quote this verse from the Mahabharata. Guravo Bahava Shanti Shishya Vita Raka Durlabha Sadguru Devi Shishya Santapa Haraka. Many gurus are expert in removing their disciples' wealth, but rare is that genuine guru who can remove their suffering. And then from Mahabharata also he quoted the same verse which we have already gone through. This is also given in Bhakti Siddhanta Vaibhav. And then another thing that is stated by Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur. So he says that a guru is from beyond this world. Only those who have descended from the spiritual stratum can speak about it. No one from this world can speak about the spiritual plane. When the living entities are fortunate enough to hear about what realm from persons who have come from there, they gain the opportunity to know about Vaikuntha. He cannot understand transcendental topics by mundane consideration. It is not proper to compromise between transcendental and the phenomenal. If we are fortunate, we'll meet a Vaikuntha man. Therefore, Chaitanya Dev states in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Krishna yadi kripa kare kona bhagyavane guru antare yami rupe shikhaye apane. When kind to someone, some fortunate conditioned soul, Krishna is super soul within and spiritual master without, personally instructs him. So CC 2.22.47. And he further described the characteristics of a true guru. A sadhu is one who will relieve me from all puzzling doubt, as stated in the beginning itself, that a guru is one who will actually clarify he will make things easier for the disciple. I do not want any incorrect worldly knowledge. A sadhu will give me the highest guru. I should make friends with such a Vaishnava who genuinely desires my topmost welfare. To attain the maximum benefit of sadhu sang, we should be ever ready to give up all mundane connections. If perchance by we meet a sadhu or a true devotee, then we shall be rescued and relieved and shown the right path for reaching our goal. He will always supply and enrich us with transcendental knowledge and service. A true devotee has no words to speak or utter except for serving the Supreme Lord. Okay, now coming back to Srila Prabhupada, Nectar of Devotion, chapter 7. In the purport, he states, the qualification of spiritual master is that he must have realized the conclusion of scriptures by deliberation and arguments and thus be able to convince others of these conclusions. Such great personalities who have taken shelter of Supreme Godhead, leaving aside all material consideration, are to be considered, understood as bona fide spiritual masters. Everyone should try to find such bona fide spiritual master in order to fulfill his mission of life, which is to transfer himself to the plane of spiritual bliss. The purport is that one should not accept a spiritual master, someone who is a fool number one, who has no direction according to the scriptural injunctions, whose character is doubtful, who does not follow the principle of devotional service, or who has not conquered the influence of six sense gratifying agents. The six agents of sense gratification are the tongue, the genitals, the belly, the anger, the mind, and the words. Anyone who has practiced controlling these six is permitted to make disciples all over the world. To accept such a spiritual master is a crucial point for advancement in spiritual life. One who is fortunate enough to come under the shelter of a bona fide spiritual master is sure to traverse the path of spiritual salvation without any doubt. Next, we'll see from Chaitanya Madhya Leela, 24th chapter, verse number 330, purport. In the Padma Puran, the characteristics of the Guru, the bona fide spiritual master, have been described. The Guru must be, okay, let's skip the sloka. The Guru must be situated on the platform of devotional service. There are three classes of devotees, and the Guru must be accepted from the topmost class. The first Guru devotee, the first class devotee is the spiritual master of all kinds of people. It is said, Guru Rinam. The word Rinam means of all human beings. The Guru is not limited to a particular group. It is stated in the Upadeshamrita of Rupa Goswami that such a Goswami, Guru is a Goswami, controller of the senses of the mind. Such a Guru can accept disciples from all over the world. Prithvim sa sishyat. This is the test of the Guru. When one has attained the topmost position of Mahabhagavat, he is to be accepted as Guru and worshipped exactly like Hari, the personality of Godhead. Only such a person is eligible to occupy the post of the Guru. Very interesting. You'll see how Prabhupada is encouraging all the disciples and devotees to take the shelter and guidance from the topmost devotee, the Uttama Adhikari. But there is a very practical challenge with this. We'll discuss about that. But now we'll see the purport to the Srimad Bhagavatam, 4th canto, 28th chapter, 52, verse number 52, 428, 52. Okay. I will be sharing on the screen also. Okay, so please hear this attentively. It's a very important purport. So Srila Prabhupada states, when a person's relative dies, renunciation is automatically visible. Consultation with the super soul seated within everyone's heart is possible only when one is completely free from the contamination of material attachment. When one who is sincere and pure gets an opportunity to consult with the Supreme Personality of Godhead in his Paramatma feature sitting within everyone's heart. The Paramatma is always the Chaitya Guru, the spiritual master within, and he comes before one externally as the instructor and initiator spiritual master. The Lord can reside within the heart, and he can also come out before a person and give him instructions. Thus, the spiritual master is not different from the super soul sitting within the heart. An uncontaminated soul or living entity can get a chance to meet the Paramatma face to face. Just as one gets a chance to consult with the Paramatma within his heart, one also gets a chance to see him actually situated before him. Then one can take instructions from the super soul directly. This is the duty of the pure devotee, to see the bona fide spiritual master and consult with the super soul within the heart. Very important. So what we understand from this is that the main purpose of the Guru is not to keep the disciples in his control, okay, but actually he ultimately has to connect the disciple to the Paramatma from within, to the super soul. That is his main objective, because then the disciple does not have to depend on the Guru for each and every thing. He has to finally make the disciple attached to Krishna. That's the main duty of the pure devotee. When the Brahman asked the woman who the man lying on the floor was, she answered that he was her spiritual master and that she was perplexed about what to do in his absence. At such a time, the super soul immediately appears, provided the devotee is purified in heart by following the directions of the spiritual master. A sincere devotee who follows the instruction of the spiritual master certainly gets direct instruction from his heart, from the super soul. Thus, a sincere devotee is always helped directly or indirectly by the spiritual master and the super soul. This is confirmed in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Guru Krishna Prasade by Bhakti Lata Bij. If the devotee serves his spiritual master sincerely, Krishna automatically becomes pleased. Jasya Prasada Bhagavad Prasada. By specifying the spiritual master, one automatically satisfies Krishna. Thus, the devotee becomes enriched by spiritual master and Krishna, by both the spiritual master and Krishna. The super soul is eternally the friend of living entity and always remains with him. The super soul has always been ready to help the living entity even before the creation of this material world. It is therefore stated here, Yenagre Vicha Chartha. The word agre means before the creation. Thus, the super soul has been accompanying the living entity since before the creation. So now you understand one thing also, that you have the Paramatma, because there is a question that, okay, can we speak with the Paramatma? Can we get direct instruction from the Paramatma? And I think Prabhupada answered in a very nice way, that you can only be in touch with the Paramatma in two situations. If you are totally pure from material contamination, that's one thing. And second situation, if you sincerely follow the instructions of the Guru, you don't have any ulterior motive, and you are serving the Lord. And while serving the Lord, if the Guru is not directly present before you, then the super soul will inspire you. So this is also related to some of the letters that Prabhupada wrote, and this very interesting. Prabhupada wrote some letters to his disciples. Very actually stated that, like, okay, let me, yes, one second. Okay, got it. Let me share it on the screen. Okay. Spiritual master is not that a particular man is a spiritual master. Spiritual master is a truth. So what is the truth? The truth is samsara dava nandaloka trana karuna ganaganatvam. The whole world is in, there's a material pangs, threefold misery. And a person who is authorized to deliver people from material pangs, he is called a spiritual master. So spiritual master is not a particular man, it is a spiritual truth. Next. So this is in the lecture Vyas Puja, Hamburg, September 5, 1969. In the absolute world, there is no distinction as me or he and I. Krishna and his representative is the same. Just like Krishna can be present simultaneously in millions of places, the spiritual master also can be present wherever the disciple wants. A spiritual master is the principle, not the body. Just like a television can be seen in thousands of places by the principle of relay monitoring. Okay, so spiritual master is not, he actually is the principle, is not the body. That way he can be present wherever the disciple wants the spiritual master to be present. Next, one night after his lecture, oh sorry, this is okay. Yeah, gentlemen, the offering of such a homage has been arranged this evening to the Acharya Dev. Is not a sectarian concern. For when we speak of fundamental principle of Gurudev or Acharya Dev, we speak of something that is of universal application. There does not arise any question of discriminating my Guru from yours or anyone else's. There is only one Guru who appears in infinity of forms to teach you, me, and all others. Srila Prabhupada's, the universal teaching, the universal teacher, 1936. So practically I have done this. People are giving me credit that I have done miracles, but my miracle is that I carried the message of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Yara dekhe tara kai Krishna Upadesh. So this is the secrecy. So any one of you, you can become Guru. It is not that I'm an extraordinary man, an extraordinary God coming from some mystical place. It is not that. It is a very simple thing. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Yara dekhe tara kai Krishna Upadesh. So I request you, follow Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's instruction that you become a Guru at your home. It is not that you have to make a gigantic show of becoming a Guru. Srila Vyas Puja lecture, Hyderabad, August 1976. All right. So now Prabhupada says that anyone can become Guru. And Prabhupada says this multiple times. I have just shared a couple of them. But Prabhupada is also saying many times that all of you can become a Guru by the advice of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And on another context, Prabhupada is saying that only a liberated person can be a Guru. Right? And then Prabhupada says that spiritual master is a principle, not the body. So what we understand from all this is that spiritual master or a guru is a guru tattva. It's a tattva. And that tattva is always liberated because that's a direct representation of Krishna and Balram or Radharani or Nityanand Prabhu. That tattva is always, it's a universal application. Prabhupada says that just like the monitoring of TV in all around the world, we will have the TV, which is, we can see everywhere. So similarly, the Guru principle, the Tattva, it is universally applicable. That means that whether your Guru is physically present or not, the Guru will always help you. Because ultimately the Guru has to connect you to the Chaitya Guru. And the Chaitya Guru Paramatma is present everywhere, like the TV monitoring, right? So this is what we need to understand, that when the disciple is very sincere and eager to follow the instruction of Guru, to follow and please the Guru and the Lord, then all help will be provided to the disciple, and that will come from the Paramatma from within. And it is not necessary that one has to be at the state of Bhav or Prem to access that Paramatma teachings. One can, at the lower level also, if one is very sincere and eager and does not have any ulterior motive, then one can also be connected to the Guru from getting instructions from within. So you will see that many devotees, they are not always near the Guru. They are spread in different parts of the world, but they are sincerely trying their best to serve Prabhupada and Guru and Krishna, and that's how they are getting all the facility and means to improve and increase the Krishna consciousness. So yeah, this is how we understand the principle of Guru Tattva. And the most important thing is that even if a Guru falls down, a Guru, so of course, see, the disciple will have attachment for the Guru. It is natural. It is also very important to have that attachment and sentiments for the Guru, because, but then you also need to understand one thing, that the same attachment, you have to develop it for Krishna also. You cannot say that, okay, I have developed for Guru, but I don't have any attachment or affection for Lord. That means your bhakti to Guru is also incomplete, because the main purpose of your affection for Guru is directly connected to the affection for Krishna. That's why Prabhupada says secret of success is simultaneously together. Now, in this particular example of the Srimad Bhagavatam, Nemi Maharaj and Krishnada Maharaj, they had developed the affection for the Lord. And that's why they saw Guru as a medium to develop their affection. Of course, they had the same affection for Guru, but when Guru deviated from the main principle, then it was easy for them to reject it, to reject the Guru, okay, and continue their own Krishna consciousness. So in the process, we may develop attachment for the Guru, but we should understand one thing, that the Guru may also fall down at some point of time. It is not liberated completely. There are different stages of liberation. We have liberation right from the state of Nishtha, goes all the way to the state of Prema. And someone coming from the spiritual world, that's another level of liberation, right? And so in order to spread the Krishna consciousness movement, we require lakhs of devotees, millions of devotees. And in order to do that, of course, we cannot restrict the devotees to become Guru at the stage of Bhav and Prem, because then rarely anyone can become a Guru. So that's why Prabhupada stated that any one of you can become a Guru. Of course, the most important principles are the regulative principles. The minimum has to be, that much has to be followed. And when you guide a devotee, it has to be from a transcendental form. It cannot be from your own conditioning of your habits, your nature and all. It has to be beyond that. It has to be according to Guru Sadhu Shastra. Then you can become a devotee, become a Guru. And yes, the more the Guru is liberated, the more the chances that you are fortunate to have his association or to take inspiration from him and to progress to higher stages of bhakti. The more the Guru is in less stages of bhakti, the more he's insufficient to guide you. Let's say, for example, if a Guru is at the state of Nishtha, then he can only bring the disciples to the state of something which is below Nishtha. He cannot go beyond that. Someone at the stage of Bhava Bhakti can bring disciples to the stage of Ruchi. And someone who is Prema Bhakti can actually bestow Prema also. So he can bring their disciples to the state of Prema, like that. So based on the advancement of the Guru, accordingly the disciples will advance. And if the disciple wants to advance further, and if the Guru is incapable or insufficient, then the disciple can take association of another exalted Uttamadhikari or someone who is more advanced than one's own Guru, right? So this is how we need to understand. In the current scenario where we have a preaching movement, preaching mission, you cannot say that only at the stage, the Guru at the state of Bhava and Prema are they're supposed to take that position of Guru. It's not possible. So there has to be some adjustment that is sanctioned by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and this is what Srila Prabhupada presented it like this. So this is an overview to give you some understanding about different types of Guru, Diksha, Siksha Guru, and when can you reject a Guru also. Okay. Of course, now the Shastra also talks about when you reject a Guru, you have to be very careful, because you don't directly reject the Guru at the first instant. You have to give them some chance for rectification. And because, like, they compare Guru to your father and uncle. So Diksha Guru and Siksha Guru like father and uncle. You don't reject your father and Guru if they commit a mistake, right? Immediately. You give them some chance for rectification. So the Shastra states that you need to give chance to the Guru to rectify himself. It does not rectify, then you can reject. Then you can take guidance from someone else, take Siksha from someone else, like that. Or you may also take Diksha, depending on your faith. Okay. So with this, we'd like to conclude the session. Very important principles. This is something that to be understood very thoroughly. So now we are open to have any questions or any comments if devotees have any. So thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Thank you so much for explaining this most important topic so elaborately, with so many examples from Bhagavatam and Srila Prabhupada's letters. You explained what a guru is, you started off with who can become a guru, what is Siksha Guru, what is Diksha Guru, what is downfall of a guru. You explained, touched almost every single aspect of this topic, I think. And one takeaway for me was the point that Guru is not a body or a person, he's a principle. And the job of Guru is to connect you to Krishna and make your dependence on association of Guru less and less and get you in closer and closer to Krishna. So thank you so much, Prabhuji. I'm going to go back and read my notes. I took down a lot of points, but I don't want to, read them right now. But if there are any questions or comments or appreciations for Prabhuji, I'm going to open the floor now. And thank you, Prabhu, once again. Dandavat Pranam.
Yeah. So thank you for your comments. And just I would like to add one more thing, because see, the thing is that, of course, when you get connected to the super soul, it does not mean that you become independent of the Guru. You become independent in the sense that you now can direct instructions from the super soul. So that way, but the gratefulness, the gratitude for the Guru is always eternal. Like that's why we say that Janme Janme Prabhu se Divegyan Vija Prokashita. So we always think that even if I am connected to super soul, that's only because of the mercy of my Guru Maharaj, that I am able to receive this help directly from the Paramatma. So in all instances, at every stage of our bhakti, we always give the credit to Guru and Parampara, like that. So that way we don't say that, okay, now the use of my Guru is over, I am connected to Paramatma, so hell with my Guru. So it is not like the way the Mayavadis they present that, okay, you require Guru only till a certain stage, and then once you attain that stage, then you are done with your Guru. It's not like that. It's an eternal principle also. So like that.
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you so much for that clarification from the devotee perspective. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Wonderful.
Okay. Any questions from other devotees?
Hare Krishna, Prema Prabhuji. Thank you so much for the wonderful class explaining about Guru Tattva and connecting it to the Bhagavatam verse today. Prabhuji, my question is about the recent, in ISKCON there is talking about female Diksha Gurus. So what is your opinion on that matter?
Yeah, so the last couple of months, years, I was not so much involved in that. Like I was not like really bothered. But then after doing some research, because I felt that, okay, now this is, I need to know this. So then I did some research on this last couple of months, maybe 1 or 2 months back. And so my conclusion is that, of course, one thing is very clear, that our path is actually the path of bhakti. It is not the path of varnashram. And in the, although there are the proponents and there are the opponents, right? So the opponents, they are quoting scriptures which are connected to the varnashram dharma, especially Manu Samhita, and Prabhupada also quotes it in the purports in his teachings. But one needs to understand that that is in a particular context. The varnashram quotes, they belong to a particular context, because there are so many other statements that not just Prabhupada will quote, but even Jiva Goswami, Rupa Goswami, other acharyas, they quote repeatedly that a devotee cannot be considered, like so a caste of the devotee can never be considered. So a devotee is actually he's beyond that. I mean, of course, we have not reached the stage of that. We have our own nature and we act accordingly. We also try to identify ourselves within the system of varnashrama. But specifically when it comes to being a guru, then there are so many bhakti shastras. Like now for us devotees, the bhakti shastras are more important. They take a more prominent role rather than the dharma shastras. Okay, so bhakti shastras are the most important for us, and that is going to give us the priority for what instructions they are supposed to follow. And in the bhakti shastras, irrespective of any kind of discrimination, so it does not state that if a devotee becomes a uttamadhikari, then only can be considered for a particular position or this and that. It does not say anything like that. In fact, the Shastra glorifies the process of bhakti to a great extent, and that is also not exaggeration. So that way, the devotees are glorified tremendously. Whoever is chanting the name of the Lord, whoever is a devotee of Vishnu, is, he should not be considered a Malecha Yavan or this and that. That kind of statements are throughout the scriptures. So from that perspective, one can clearly make out that one definitely a Vaishnavi is qualified to become a guru. There's no doubt about that. From the teachings of our acharyas and of course seeing the history also. But yes, one thing is there, that it should not become at the expense or the cost of sacrificing the family. Like for example, a woman is very important. She is playing a very important role, duty and service in one's own ashram, the Grihastha ashram, and the role of woman is to somehow make the dependents come to a point where they also become devotees of the Lord and nicely taken care of, maintained and everything. So that role of woman has to be there. If woman has children, she has to take care of children nicely. She cannot just give up that responsibility and become guru. That is also very important. Okay. So if a woman has been done with that, she's done nicely, and gradually, of course, no one is going to demand. See, a devotee can never demand that I would like to be a guru. There has to be some kind of invitation to become a guru, like, or some kind of instruction from the devotees and the guru that you should take the role of guru. So a devotee should not himself think that, okay, whether it is male or female devotee. So that is out of question. But when then superior instruction comes that, okay, you should now take a service and role of a guru, then definitely one can start thinking about it. And if one has been free from the responsibilities, then one can take that position, take that role also. So this is how I understand. It is very clear from the Bhakti scriptures. We cannot overemphasize the Dharma scriptures because we are not following that as such. That is not our priority. We are basically, our main connection is develop bhakti for the Lord. So although Prabhupada may say in very few circumstances that we are supposed to do this according to Manu Samhita or some Dharma Shastra, but then Prabhupada stated many other things also, and the Srimad Bhagavatam is the main scripture that we are supposed to follow. And that's the Bhakti Shastra. Plus, our acharyas, they are not just quoting from Srimad Bhagavatam, they are also quoting from other scriptures. They are also quoting many other scriptures where it is clearly mentioned that Bhakti to Vishnu is the supreme. It cannot be compromised for any other thing. So from that angle also, if we see, then it is clear that Guru Sadhu Shastra, they want us to focus on bhakti, aspect of bhakti. And from that aspect, we'll easily come to conclusion that any devotee who knows the science of Krishna can become Guru. But of course, it has to be also taken in the, we need to see everything in the right context at the right time. So when one is supposed to take the role of Guru, it cannot be that, okay, someone who knows the science of Krishna means that, okay, he can leave his family and he can become a Guru. No, not like that. But at the right time, we can actually take that role. So this is my understanding about the entire thing.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji. Appreciate the wonderful perspective which you're drawing from all the scriptures and lectures of Srila Prabhupada. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Okay. Any other devotees that have questions? So, the Bhakti Shastra, they talk about equal opportunities for men and women to advance in Krishna consciousness. There is nothing like, just because someone is a woman, so she cannot advance. That is not something that the way Prabhupada presented. And that is not the way the Bhakti Shastra also presents. Now, of course, the Dharma Shastras, they may say about certain things, but for us devotees, the Bhakti Shastras are the main thing. So we follow that. And from that, we understand that women have equal right to advance and they can also take the role and position of Guru. Now, one thing we need to understand is that, first of all, see, whether it is a male or a female devotee, knowledge is very important. Anyone who is taking the role of Guru, they have to, as Prabhupada says in all of these purports and the letters that we read, that one needs to have proper knowledge of the science of Krishna consciousness. So, many sometimes like devotees say that, okay, I have a different opinion, but your different opinion does not even matter, actually. To be really honest, different opinion of devotees who do not have knowledge, it hardly matters. Ultimately, what matters is if the devotee has knowledge or not. And for that, that's why we have this category of Kanishta, Madhyama, Uttama. Now, even a Kanishta will say tomorrow that, okay, this is my opinion. But that opinion is not because of any maturity or any experience or knowledge of Shastra. So even if they give opinion, how does it matter? How it won't have any effect, because that is not according to Guru Sadhu Shastra. So in order to have proper opinion, it has to be according to Guru Sadhu Shastra. You cannot reject Shastra, you cannot avoid Shastra, you cannot avoid the teaching of your Vaishnavas and Gurujan, and you cannot avoid the Acharya Vani also. So for that, every devotee must have very thorough knowledge of Acharya Vani. If you don't have that, then your opinion it will not affect at all, because your opinion is coming from your conditioning, okay, and it is not coming from a transcendental platform. So that's why that opinion has to come from a transcendental platform, and transcendental platform is only when you have very sufficiently, you have heard the Acharya Vani, and Acharya Vani is basically Guru Sadhu Shastra. So that's why you'll see that our acharyas, they always quote Shastra for whatever they want to establish. They quote Shastra Praman. Okay, so this is very important. All devotees, they have to understand this, that whenever a topic is presented, you may have your opinion. Okay, that's okay. Of course, someone cannot force you to change your opinion, but that opinion will mature with time. Currently you may have opinion, that opinion will change after some time, because you will be exposed to a lot of knowledge and the teaching of the acharyas, the leelas of the acharyas, and from there you will actually understand why the acharyas say something about this topic, and then your opinion will expand, it will broaden up. Okay, so that's why it's very important that the first and foremost important service is to know Acharya Vani. If you don't know Acharya Vani, then you can just, follow who knows that. Otherwise, we have like millions of devotees and they have their millions of opinions. But then why do we have the GBC? Because GBC is the one who is going to decide the majority of the devotees. Of course, it is assumed that they will all be knowledgeable devotees, and that's how they will also take into consideration the Guru. That's why we have the Shastric Advisory Committee also, so that the Shastric Advisory Committee will go through all the teaching of the Acharyas. So they will go through the teaching of the Shastras, they will go to the Guru Vani, what Prabhupada says about this topic. And then finally, they will also try to find what the sadhus are saying, the devotees are saying in the relevant context, because the context is also very important. The relevance of the time is also very important. So that's how they will try to disseminate Prabhupada's instruction also, teachings also. And so this is the right process, Guru Sadhu Shastra. So one has to know that. Then only one will reach some point of conclusion. Otherwise, very difficult. Okay, all right. So if there are no questions or comments, then we can end the class.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji. One more question, Prabhuji, about Shiksha Guru. You mentioned that Shikshana is more important than Diksha. And we know there can be multiple Shiksha Gurus. They're instructing. And if there is sometimes one Shiksha Guru may give you some conflicting opinion as the other. So how do we understand? Should we go to a higher authority to reconcile?
Yeah, so see, generally, so now, this can get a bit complicated in ISKCON because, as I was stating earlier, that we are actually trying to serve a lot of physical services there. And then comes the matter of taste also, because devotees, they are inclined according to their taste. So Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, Padasenam, Archanam, Dasyam, Sakyam. So devotees will have different taste in their natural inclination to serve Krishna. And that's where the conflict may come sometimes, because the Siksha Guru may have his own flavor of taste, and he may sometimes try to impose that taste on others also, on their whoever is following them. Of course, that's why I was saying that the Guru Sadhu Shastra factor is most important. If they have right knowledge, then they can guide the devotees accordingly. That guidance should not come from their conditioning or from the nature, or what they like to do, they will impose it on others. So most of the instruction that will be resolved when they get to know this. So because what is happening is, many devotees, they get confused because they want to serve in a particular way, but the senior devotees, they may guide it they guide them in a different way. But it's not like that. So of course, sometimes Prabhupada did that. He, based on the circumstances, he expected that the disciples will actually follow whatever he wants them to do, and they did that for that particular time being. So it also requires some intelligence to understand what is really very important at this particular point of time, and we do that. It is also important to cooperate, and it is also important to expand the mission in a cooperative spirit. So sometimes we may not get to do what we want to do, and we still do it. But then, if you see in the long run, on a permanent basis, we do what we like to do. That's how the gurus are supposed to also instruct their disciples. They are supposed to encourage their disciples in that way. And there's also a purport in I don't recollect from Bhagavatam or CC. I don't remember, or maybe from Nectar of Devotion. Prabhupada says that Guru is supposed to train the disciple or guide the disciple according to the natural inclination. So these are very important things that they must know. Now, if there is a different opinion between two Siksha Gurus or two, or Siksha Guru and the Diksha Guru, then it needs to be resolved mutually, which means that they both need to discuss what is best for the disciple. And once they discuss it, they will sort it out and they'll come up with a resolution for that. So that we can follow that like that. So it requires, of course, so many times it is just the flavor of devotion. It is just our own natural inclination. And other times when there is a genuine situation where the disciple is instructed in a different opposite way, then they need to come together, they need to mutually resolve it, and then it will be easier for the disciple to follow that.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Sometimes, we are a global community, and Shiksha Gurus, they probably are not accustomed or acquainted to each other. So it's difficult for them to connect and come to a consensus. So
yeah. That's why I said, see, the Shiksha Guru may tell you a different thing. Like for example, I won't name the Maharaj that I met. So I met one Maharaj who told me that if I can do something for the children in the school, because this area needs to be developed. So then I shared, that Maharaj, I don't have any experience with this, and I've never preached to the children before, and I don't know how to really relate with them. I mean, I've never tried it earlier. I've never got an experience of doing that. So then Maharaj said that this is a more important seva. And so this came from one Maharaj, and then when I met another Maharaj, and of course I didn't have any intention to share it, but it just came up. And this Maharaj, he told me that. So when I shared with him that this is what this Maharaj said, so then the other Maharaj, he said that, well, it also depends on your natural inclination. If you don't have the inclination, you are not supposed to do it. So then I said, oh, yeah, this is what I felt at that point of time. But of course, both are very, very respectable and very advanced Vaishnavas. But you see, there is a different opinion between the two of them. So one feels that, okay, it should be done, but other feels that it also depends on the inclination of the devotee, whether they would like to preach in this area. And he also said that, if you don't like to do it, then you just probably lose more time rather than what you like to do. And in less time, you could have, you can actually contribute more ways in what you like to do. So this is what, there are different opinions between different gurus also. And that's why this is something that we can take it as something that we can follow by inspiration. We can do it by inspiration. It's not necessary that each and everything that they express that needs to be followed by us. So we need to also have some intelligence, some Guru Sadhu Shastra. Through that we can understand that, okay, this is something which is optional to us. It is an optional. Like if that Maharaj told me that I should think about preaching into the children, schools and all, then of course, if I get an opportunity in the future, I will definitely try that. It's not that something that I have rejected totally. So it's his opinion, and I respect that. And this is the opinion of other Maharaj, and it makes sense to me also. But of course, yeah, I'm open to the idea that if I get an opportunity, I will preach to the children. So like that. So based on that, we have to. So whenever there is a different opinion amongst different senior devotees, advanced devotees, then we can also take it as like something which is optional thing. It is not something that needs to be followed as an obligation, like that. And it's not to be considered an offense also. So like that we can. But of course, there are like this situation. There may be many situations where we need to use our intelligence, and also we can. And when this particular Maharaj told me about serving in the children's school, then I also asked some senior devotees, that what do you feel about this? And they told me that, well, yeah, I mean, this is Maharaj's desire, but whether a devotee would like to follow or not, that is up to his choice, because ultimately, devotees, they have their different inclinations of services. So like that. Now, this Maharaj and this Maharaj, both Maharaj, they are not even my Diksha and Siksha Gurus. I have not regularly, taken guidance from them for anything. So it's an option for me. I can just decide what to do. And if someone very close to me, if there is is guiding me totally, I'm asking questions since a long time, to please that devotee, I may probably do it. But when it comes to hearing from devotees whom you are not connected to as such, then it also becomes an option for you like that.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, okay. So see, that's why the most important principle for a guru-disciple relationship is the permanent instructions, which is basically the Vani. And that means as long as you are doing Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, the Navida Bhakti, depending on your liking. Shravanam is definitely mandatory. It is the Swarup Shakti of Kirtan, just like Radharani is the Swarup Shakti of Krishna. So you cannot approach Krishna through without Radharani. So similarly, you cannot chant the holy name properly unless you do hearing from the bona fide source properly. So that Shravanam is definitely very important. And then Kali Yuga, Kirtanam, without that you cannot achieve the goal. So Shravanam, Kirtanam, these two are mandatory for all devotees. And it will also show how much you are interested in, how much taste you have for Krishna and the devotees and the entire philosophy and the Leelas of the Lord. So how much you are attached to the Lord. So that comes from hearing. And Kirtanam is necessary in Kali Yuga. So there is no other way. So Kirtanam, Shravanam, they are most essential. And then, of course, ultimately, if a devotee is, see, if someone loves someone, then they will always think of that person. So Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, they are like the most essential limbs of bhakti in each and every limb of bhakti that you do. So even if you do deity worship, still you have to think about the Lord. You have to remember, you have to chant the glories of the Lord like that. Whatever you do, Sakhyam, Atmani Vedanam, Bandhanam, Dasyam, serving, or whatever you do, it's always Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam. These are the most important limbs of bhakti. Okay, so this is like a permanent thing. Permanent thing is very pleasing to the Guru. Rather than taking instruction at a particular context, a particular time, temporary instruction, that is only valid for a particular frame of time. So you may not be able to please the Guru in a particular frame of time, but overall you are probably pleasing the Guru, because the ultimate thing is Vani. So when you are enthusiastic about Krishna consciousness throughout your life, and if you are serving, then that itself is pleasing to the Guru. So of course we are not like pure devotees, so we'll have some conditioning also. We'll not be able to please the spiritual master in each and everything. But then the most essential thing, Prabhupada expected that regulative principles, chanting the Mahamantra 16 rounds daily, and then of course trying to serve as much as possible. So if we are doing these things, that will please the Guru sufficiently. And then of course, based on context, we may also instruct him, and that time we are supposed to do it as much as we can. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, so some devotees may please the Guru in a particular frame of time, but then they may not, if they are not chanting the rounds, 16 rounds, if they do not chant regularly, if they are not following the regular principles, if they are not serving throughout their life, then that will displease the Guru. So although in one instant you may have pleased the Guru, but you have to see the entire picture. It is not just a matter of a few minutes or few hours or a few days like that. It's a matter of the entire life. So that is like overall one has to see. That's why Krishna is Sargrahi and Bhavgrahi. That's how Guru sees the disciple also. And of course, the Guru will also see how many times you fall down, but then after falling down, how many times you make an attempt to come back. Like if you never give up that spirit and you always fight back and come again, that also the Guru sees. So all these things are very important.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you for this wonderful class. I have a question regarding karma. Do the gurus also take your karma? Negative karma?
So actually, see, the process of bhakti itself will take away your karma. Okay. So of course, Guru will take the reaction of your sinful activities if you commit it after taking initiation. They will take the reaction of that. They have to take the reaction. But the most important thing is that any process of bhakti, any limb of bhakti will destroy karma anyways. Right? But if you commit aparadh, then even if you have the limbs of bhakti, if you have Guru and if you commit aparadh, then still the karma will reappear. The destroyed karma may reappear, or you may create some new karmas. Okay, so that's why the most important thing for devotee is to avoid aparadhs. If you are not doing any aparadh, if you are not, I mean, of course, that's very difficult also. But as far as possible, if you do not commit aparadhs, then we are safe. Then automatically bhakti will take care of everything.
So what's the difference between sin and aparadh, Prabhuji?
Yeah, so sin is, it's basically something which is impious activity, and it is not connected with bhakti. The results are not connected with bhakti. So a sinful person can also become a devotee. Okay, but then committing sins on the strength of the holy name or on the strength of bhakti, thinking that the bhakti will destroy my sin, that's another offense to the holy name. So sin, you may be sinful, but after accepting the path of bhakti and initiation, you stop it totally. Then your karmas, they are all destroyed automatically. Okay, you avoid aparadh in the process, and then you're basically free from karmas. Actually, this is a result of bhakti. Immediately everything will be destroyed, although you may not be able to see it, but internally all these things will happen. Externally, it may seem that you are continuing your karma, but no, it's totally Lord's arrangement. It's completely Lord's arrangement. Whatever is happening in your life, if you just don't commit aparadhs, which is actually, I think, technically impossible, each and every aparadh to avoid. Some aparadh may happen sometimes, so it may be like mostly it is consequence of our aparadhs only. The karma that we are facing, the suffering that we are facing is because we are aparadh. But if you are at the stage of nama bhas, where you are not committed, there is no aparadh now remaining, then you have a karma free life. It seems that you have karma, but it's totally karma free. Whatever is happening is all arranged by the Lord, like that. And of course, even if devotees are committing aparadhs, these aparadhs, the reaction is not given by any karma cycle. It is given by the Lord directly to just punish us in order to rectify us as a loving Father, like that. So that way we need to understand.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Okay. Madhuri, I think you are muted, so you need to unmute yourself. No, you are still muted.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for this nectar class, and the start of the topic. Chapter was very nicely you explained about Guru and spiritual master. So thank you, Prabhuji. I don't have any question, but thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Okay, all right. So thank you all the devotees for joining. And I think we'll have a class the end of April. So I was supposed to travel to Ahmedabad, but I'm traveling next week. So we'll have the class that day.
Yes, Prabhuji.
On 25th, I think, yeah, 25th, 26th, 27th, 27th probably, yeah.
I'll check the schedule, yeah. So
yeah, okay.
Continue,
right.
but the verse was very nice, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Yes, I think so. We'll continue, yeah, unless I get some interesting topic.
Okay, thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. आनंद कोटि वैष्णव की जय
जय आचार्य श्री रविदास ठाकुर की जय
जय
श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय बात की जय प्रेमा जय
Jai.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hari Bol. Hari Bol.
Hari Bol.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.